Welcome back to JimmyJunks, and in today's video we're checking out Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance on Nintendo Switch Online. I have this awesome controller, the SN30 Pro, that I'm going to be using to play all these games in this review. There is Game Boy, which also comes included with Game Boy Color, and then Game Boy Advance. We're going to take a look at the Game Boy and Game Boy Color games and see how they run and how they play on here. Not only that, but we're going to check out what they included for a standalone release. Now, I didn't really see the exact roster of games, but I am very curious. Alright, so we're going to start off. We got Wario Land 3. Great game in the the Mario Land series, which ended up being the Wario Land series, which also was on the Virtual Boy, which hit or miss. Link's Awakening DX, which gives it a more vibrant color. Metroid 2, Return of Samus. Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins, which is a fantastic platformer. Tetris, like, you can't have Game Boy and not have Tetris. This came packed with every single release of the Game Boy. Kirby's Dream Land, a classic. Never really played Gargoyle's Quest, but I'm sure it's a great game. It's made by Capcom. Capcom made banger after banger. Game & Watch Gallery 3, not really, don't really know much about this one. I had Game & Watch Gallery growing up, but never had 2 or 3, so I'm interested in that one. Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare, also have no thoughts on that one because I've never seen it before. And that's all the games. Honestly, that's not bad for a standalone release. For like first initial release, that's really not bad. The game selection, you got your Mario, you got your platformer games, you got your puzzle platformer kind of style game, action adventure with these two. Tetris, you got Tetris. But I'm also curious about what settings they offer. So you got the Game Boy green filter. You got the Game Boy Pocket, which is a lighter green filter, more neonish, in my opinion. And then you got the Game Boy Color Vibrant Color mode, which is freaking fantastic. I love that they added that. Display with small screen, reproduce classic feel. Yeah, they got it on lock with this. For the sake of this review, I'm gonna check out a game I'm very familiar with, which is Tetris. So here's the green filter of a original Game Boy. The reason why the sound is cutting out is because my sound bar is weird with old video game music. It's always been like that. But this looks pretty damn good. Looks really authentic to a Game Boy. But let's play around with the filters a little bit. This is Game Boy Pocket, which in my opinion gives it a brighter green tone to the colors. And then color mode, which replicates if you were playing on a Game Boy Color with full color mode. Also, the Super Game Boy had vibrant colors that you could add onto every game that you play through the colored wheel that they had on the game, which is pretty cool as well. Look, these colors, they really do show through very well. Now this is reproduce classic feel mode. Which really cool. You get those Game Boy scan lines. You can kind of see it, like if I do that. I don't know if I'd play it like that, but it's an option. So this is with the original green filter with reproduce classic feel and small screen mode. I don't know why anybody would play like this unless you're playing in a handheld mode with the Switch. Even then, I don't know if I'd ever play it like this. For the sake of this review, I'm just going to use the Game Boy Color filter, and that's about it. So we're going to check out 2 more games before we head over to Game Boy Advance. We're going to check out Super Mario Land 2 and Zelda Link's Awakening DX. Yep, this is exactly how I remember it. Looks fantastic. Plays fantastic. All the inputs are going through like they should. Colors look fantastic. Vibrant as they should. Blue Goomba. Look at that little pixel Mario head. Look at that. Look at that little head right there. Look at that. The sound, although it's cutting out on my soundbar, sounds pretty much one-to-one what you'd hear on the Game Boy. I am actually, like, I'm blown away by how accurate this is. I'm trying to play with one hand here. Like this, I don't care. But this is pretty cool though. And now you got Zelda Link's Awakening DX, which this version includes a new secret dungeon, which is only on the Game Boy Color version. Like, this looks fantastic. Even on an HD television like this. There's Link. Like this, you can't, this is great. Like, look at that. Look at the vibrant colors on this title screen. Like, I just can't fathom that, like, it looks so good. Like, they managed to make it look really good on this, like, more modern television. Look at the little Link sprite dancing. Look at that little dancing Link. So I clicked include all versions, and look at that. I like that. With the black background around the game case like that. I like that. That's actually really cool. I wish they had done that with that instead of the traditional, like, brown tan color that they usually go with for Zelda. This is like, I like it. Alright, now we gotta check out Game Boy Advance, which I have a lot more memories with. Oh, look at... what the... okay, so you only got 6 games to start. Okay. So you got WarioWare Inc., Mega Micro Games, a classic. Mario 3, Mario Advance 4. A pretty good title to include. Mario Kart Super Circuit, which is a great game, a very underrated Mario Kart game in my opinion. Mario Luigi Superstar Saga, which not only is it one of the first in the series, Mario Luigi Superstar Saga is the first in the series, it also got re-released with enhanced graphics and other bonus features on the 3DS. And then you got a very, very, very underrated Zelda game, Minish Cap, which is the most underrated game of all time. Nobody even talks about it in the series. And I don't even know. Never played that game. Never played that game. So we're gonna go with these 2 games for this review. So let's check out this one. Nintendo presents. And again, graphics look fantastic on an HD monitor or TV or whatever you want to call it, television. Looks fantastic. Let's just get out of here. Now, for some reason, this looks weird to me. I don't know how to explain it, but this whole thing going on here, this whole sprite looks weird to me. Now with the GBA, you only get reproduce classic feel and display with small screen, which I would never do the display with small screen mode, but reproduce classic feel, it's alright. I mean, you gotta love this opening title screen. I mean, they gave life to it. I mean, I get that this is what they had on the All-Stars edition of Super Mario Bros. 3, and they also just carried it over with more modernized, like, sprites and Game Boy Advance music and stuff, sound chip, what have you. But this brings it to life. If they had this on the NES version, I would have crapped my pants. Now this actually gives you 3 files to work with and level card. I believe they added the addition of e-reader levels in this version. It's criminal that you can't play as Luigi unless you do a 2-player game. Playback mode, what? Oh, you can save replays? What? I'm okay. Alright, let's see what this entails here. Now this is playing just like I remember it. I played the crap out of this game. This specific version, I should say. But I'm only using one hand, so it's not, you know. But sounds great, plays great. Like, you can't get any better than this. And if they included e-reader levels, well, then my mind is blown. And of course, you know, save states, or they call it suspend point, but really, they're save states. And you get 4 slots, just like in the Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. Now, on to Minish Cap. this is highly nostalgic to me, because this was one of the only Zelda games that I actually like really sunk into as far as like a full playthrough, which, you know, maybe, you know, I mean, I did play Ocarina, and I did play Link to the Past, and a little bit of Wind Waker, but this was my Zelda of choice for whatever reason. I'm just gonna, just for the sake of this, I usually do lowercase, but I'm one-handing it here, so Link. Options. Message speed. You want to have that fast. Brightness. Oh yeah, you don't want to do dark for this. But it just, you know, this is so nostalgic to me. And I don't know why this menu keeps popping up, but, or this thing on the bottom. Like, this looks pretty good to me as well. I mean, I know the polygon count and the pixel count is a lot much higher than the Game Boy, so it's gonna look a little weird if you don't use the filters they give you, which I would actually recommend with this. I'm gonna do a test run with the filters on, but this actually looks really, really good anyway. There's Zelda there. Like this, I'm blown away, literally, by all of this. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna. I have well, besides it looking a little weird to me, if you like really look at it for too long, it looks really, really weird. But I want to see if I can change that with the filters. I mean, yeah, if you put the filter on, it really does make a huge difference, especially with Game Boy Advance. Honestly, this is the best way to play it. Honestly. Like, put this filter on and you're good. It kind of eliminates a lot of those, like, pixels, I guess you call it. Like the way that they looked like, I don't know how to explain it on the technical side of things, but it just looked really off to me. One thing I did notice is that the font is not behind the filtered layer. That's an interesting thing to notice. But just looking at this one screen, I mean, you're getting a little bit of a scanline difference. I wouldn't call it authentic, but it does make a difference. Just looking at the one sprite, you can kind of see the difference. Zooming in here, you can really see the difference. Now this is without it, again. You can definitely see the difference. I'm gonna take a side-by-side picture to show the actual difference of the way it looks. I mean, either way you play it, it looks like good anyway, based around the technology that they had to work with the Game Boy Advance. But it does look a little better with the scan lines. Honestly, this isn't that bad to where it could have been. It's actually pretty solid for a first-time release on the Nintendo Switch Online. They could have added more games, yeah, especially to both, but for what they did add, they added a good selection of games, especially Minish Cap, Mario 3, and Mario and Luigi's Superstar Saga. I'm bad at pointing. Right here. They added a good selection of games, honestly. Filters leave a little bit to be desired, but they do enhance the games, especially Game Boy Advance. I wouldn't play without the filter, personally. But I would basically say they did a really good job on it. They didn't half-ass it like they did the N64, and I will stand by that. Granted, N64 is a much higher technology to emulate. This much easier. Same with Game Boy. Game Boy and Game Boy Color are so much easier to emulate. But this, they did a fantastic job on.